welcome to the show. Everybody tells me that wherever you go, a bedlam ensues and people go crazy and they chase you around and it's berserk. Is that a fair assessment of what happens in your life these days?
Only when I'm working. I mean, I try and avoid it as much as I can.
Right. And to what do you attribute this?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I'm still like, I don't know, maybe it's like a kind of scent or something. I don't know. But like people are kind of, I don't know, people are so, like, have such a passion for these books and stories.
Sure. But did you have, how many films have you been in altogether?
I think about 9.
9. Now, the first time you appeared on the big screen, did it start to happen then?
Absolutely not. I was in a Viking. I was playing a Viking in a film called The Ring of the Nibelungs, which I don't think a lot of people have seen.
Ring of the Nibelungs?
The Ring of the Nibelungs, yeah. And I had a terrible wig on, and my entire part was dubbed over by another actor.
But in the beginning, people sometimes single out somebody that they like, and they become, like a super fan. Have you ever had any of that before this general adoration?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if it was a super fan. I mean, I was doing this film playing Salvador Dali in Spain. And there was this one girl who was kind of waiting outside my apartment every single day, and I was so chronically bored that just one day, she'd been out there for about 3 weeks, and they said, "Hey, do you want to just go to dinner or something? I mean, no one else wants to hang out with me." And I went,
"High flattery indeed for the young lady."
Her parents had a restaurant. She took me to the restaurant.
Oh, and, that's nice.
Yeah, and I kind of complained about everything in my life for about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And then she gave me the bill at the end. Right. I had to pay for it. And then was never back outside my apartment ever again.
But now it's much different, and it's young girls, right? And then, but now also, in addition to young girls, you get their mothers. Is that correct too?
That's a very strange experience, having everyone clapping in the darkness when you kind of know you can't really tell who's there. There are some mothers, and also in addition to that, there are a couple more guys on this sequel. There was a guy, a kind of maybe 230-pound guy who was at the premiere, kind of Hispanic looking, and he was asking me to bite him as well. And so I did, and the surprising thing was I kind of liked it afterwards, and I've been out to dinner with him a couple of times since.
But the phenomenon of biting, so they show here, bite me, but strictly speaking, that's not healthy, especially with the swine flu going on. I mean, and the swine flu is the least of it, honest to God. But somebody says bite me. What do you actually? I mean, you don't really.
Well, it depends on your mood, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess.
Yeah, and it depends, what you want to get out of it at the end. There's variations of biting.
Yeah. And the woman holds up a small child, offering you to here, bite the baby. Did that happen?
That was before anyone asked me to bite them at all. I mean, I just thought it was, I just thought it was hilarious that someone had handed me this child to do whatever with. I mean, initially I thought they were just giving it to me, and somehow I ended up biting the baby on the head, and there was a photo of it afterwards.
Well, that's illegal, both that whole thing, that whole entire transaction. That's illegal. All of it. You can't just be giving away babies, and then you can't bite them. It's a nice picture right here. This is you and Kristen Stewart. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And you're dating her. Is that? Am I right about that?
I've been so kind of cryptically avoiding this question throughout the entire press tour.
Bite me.
And so
what do I care? What can you tell me about this best black dresses? What do you know about that? You're from London, is that correct? Went to school there?
Yes.
Yeah. And started acting early. Is that when it happened?
Early-ish, like 16, I think.
Yeah. And do you do an American accent? You have to do an American accent, right?
Yeah.
And how do you do that?
I don't know. My American accent's so strange, and a lot of people say I'm not even doing one anyway in the movies. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. It just seemed like the voice that comes out when the first time you read the script, and I'd never really gone to a dialect coach or anything.
Really? But the key to it, everything gets flattened out in an American accent, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's true, and it's quite, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to, well, for me anyway, to kind of emote more. It's quite difficult to, I find it difficult to shout.
Yeah, I would think it would be odd to act with a different accent than your own.
It does.
Usually.
It makes you feel, having an American accent makes you feel like you're in a movie more. Whenever I speak in English, I always feel like I'm kind of pretending.
Although the American perspective, I think you hear that British or English accent, and you really think, ooh, now there's an actor. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's funny because there's so many more English people in LA since the first time I've gone there. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
Every year there's 50 times as many.
Now why
and
is that, you suppose? Yeah, a lot of Australians also. I wish they'd knock that off.
I don't know. I mean, it's strange because I mean, I can understand where they come from England because there are no jobs in England. There's no film industry, so that's why they go over there.
Have we heard your American accent? And were you using a little of it in there or not?
Right now?
No, this is mine. This is my American accent. Yes, that's it. That's it. What is yours?
Mine's like sidewalk. Candy.
Candy. Candy.
Candy's always the key word.
Now this movie is going to be enormous. Don't you think it's going to be huge? And the novels and the young girls and the vampires. Can anybody explain that?
I certainly can't. I mean, I've kind of. I've been asked it so many times, like, what is the appeal? Did you ever see it being so successful?
Right.
I never did. I mean, I always try to look for the negative aspects of a character when you're playing them, and so I've never seen him as Edward as this ideal man who would be, you know, it's all about Edward and Bella's relationship being this perfect relationship, and I've kind of never seen why it is really.
Well, I'll tell you my own experience with this, and maybe it's universal, maybe it's not. I was alone one time in a house way out west, and I was awakened in the middle of the night by something shooting around my head, and I turned on the lights, and it was a bat. And I'm telling you, I thought it was creepy that a bat was flying around, and I can imagine what a 16-year-old girl would think of a bat flying around in her bedroom. I would think she would think that would be creepy as well. So, you know, add that up for me.
I guess. I mean, I wish I could think of a relevant point to that, but I mean, it's kind of. Yeah.
Well, we don't have that kind of time, but I appreciate the attempt nonetheless.